everyone. My name is Diana Mercuri, and I work with Mancuso Show Management. And today I have a great pleasure of talking with an instructor from our Create DIY show that is happening in about 2 weeks, January 13th to the 16th. Dana Dodge, very nice to see you over the Zoom. How are you today?
Great. Hi, Diana. Thanks for having me.
Sure. So where are you today and what are you up to?
I'm in Richmond, Virginia, and I'm shipping lots of orders. I have a website and I sell knitting kits. And with the weather being so bad and the holidays over, it's a big month for knitting.
That's definitely true. The temperature's dropping. There's no better time to get out your knitting needles and knit something cozy and warm. So can you tell me a little bit about your background?
Well, I was always interested in crafts when I was a kid. I did all kinds of handcrafts, and I went to art school in high school. I started working in the graphic arts industry while I was in high school, and then I got my BFA in communication arts in college and started working at advertising agencies after college.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, the best part was that work got really slow, and a colleague who is a lifelong friend now taught me to knit during our downtime, and that changed my life.
That's really awesome. I know knitting is such a great skill and craft to do when you just have downtime. You can just sit and clears your mind. So how did you get started in the knitting and textile arts field with with your business?
Well, I bought so much yarn that I realized I had to start selling it. So I started buying wholesale. I already had a business as an art director, so I used my business skills to start a new business, design a website, and I started selling yarn online in 1999 when there wasn't a lot of competition. And my website was originally called Got Yarn. As a takeoff on my advertising career, back then they had the Got Milk campaign, was
Right.
pretty common. So it just really took off, and within 2 years I had kind of let my other business go by the wayside and opened a brick and mortar store and been doing it ever since.
And is your brick and mortar store still open?
No, actually it became a kind of 24/7, and it was really too much for me. I had a young child, so I closed the store and just went back to working online, and I've been doing that since 2006.
And so people can find you online at either gotyarn.com, and what's the other website that they can find you at?
It's to knit with the numeral 2, KITS 2 knit, KNIT.com.
Awesome. Well, so is collecting yarn the same as like collecting fabric? You have like huge stashes of yarn.
Well, at this point, I don't tell a lot of people this, but I imagine some of my customers have more yarn than I do because I've had a lot of customers for a very long time. And yes, it's very easy to collect it and, fantasize about what you're going to make or plan. And, in my free time, of course. So knitting is it's more portable, a lot more portable than than sewing, obviously, quilting. So that's a good thing because you can have small projects to take with you and big ones to be working on when you need to focus and have time and peace of mind. So it's kind of a flexible hobby. So you're almost more inclined to buy yarn because you could buy just one ball and say, oh, I'll just use this for take along project.
Yeah, I can imagine that looking at all those different colors and the different textures, it would be very addictive to just buy as much yarn as you could possibly want. Well, so what are the items that you sell in your store?
Well, I sell kits out of mostly natural fibers and a lot of hand dyed yarn. This sweater I'm wearing and the yarn behind me is from a Japanese uh, company founded many years ago by a man, Noro. Saku Noro still runs the company, and they use low eco footprint practices, low water, low electricity. They recycle, they use recycled energy, and I try and find suppliers who have a purpose besides just selling yarn. I have a family in Canada, 3 generations of women farmers who dye their own yarn. And I have a company that plants a tree in Africa for every ball of yarn we sell. So it's really makes you feel good on so many levels to be sharing their products and enriching everybody's lives.
That's really cool. I didn't realize that. That's amazing that you're kind of, giving back for every purchase. I could imagine that a lot of people would be interested in supporting a business like yours, especially in these days.
Yeah, it's also guilt-free then. It's like, well, if I buy this yarn, I'm helping people in Africa maintain a livelihood and an economy. So
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Now, do you provide additional information about that on your website?
yes, I do, and I have a link to the company that does that. Interestingly, the women who dye their yarn are in Turkey, and they've helped these women form a co-op, so they have an alternative business that's safe and dependable and is not involved in anything that puts them at risk. So
Well, that's amazing. Thank you so much for, helping our earth and helping our world.
yeah.
What is your favorite pattern to knit?
Well, this sweater I'm wearing is actually just 4 rectangles. Well, the front, the back, and the 2 sleeves are all rectangles. And I've started with a fifth that had a collar like this. I called it 5 easy pieces. And
Mhm.
then I've been doing variations ever since so that you can knit and not have to worry about shaping and measurements. And they pretty much look good on everybody.
Yeah, it's a beautiful sweater. Now, is this one of your patterns that you have in your store?
I currently don't have this kit because everybody wants the color in the picture and they discontinue this color,
Mhm.
but I should bring it back. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
the
it's a
colors
great sweater for being at home.
yeah, thank you. It's kind of like fashion. They change the colors every season. So people get their hearts set on recreating something and then it was a limited edition. So
I got it. I got it. So I want to talk a little bit about the workshops that you're teaching for us at Create DIY. You're teaching knitting clever cast-ons and brilliant bind-offs, and that's a half day on Friday, January 15th from 12 to 3. Can you tell me a little bit about that workshop?
well, if you're like me, you learned one way to cast on, and I did that for 10, 15 years until maybe a pattern said cast on this way, and I just went, okay, I'll do that. And then I realized there's different methods, different techniques for different either just visual look or because it aids in construction of a garment, or there are cast-ons that mirror a bind off, and sometimes it doesn't matter, the cast-on's not going to show, and other times it could be prominent. So it's all about exploring different methods. Some of them are just more comfortable, easier. Some of them have multiple colors involved. Some of them are better for you need something stretchy or you want something that's firm and not going to lose its shape. So we'll explore lots of different methods and learn when and why you would want to use one over the other, and then you can have a toolbox of cast-ons and bind-offs, and that's something you can consider when you're planning your projects.
It's really interesting. I mean, I'm a total newbie at all textile arts, but I would have never imagined that there were different cast-ons and bind-offs for different projects. So definitely would be a very interesting class to take for those who didn't know that was even a thing. So that's very cool.
Yeah, there's cast-ons for socks or hats, sweaters, collars, all those design details often require to make it, your best work,
Right.
a special method.
That's neat. Okay, so then also you're teaching on Saturday morning, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's Saturday, January 16th, 40 years of knitting tips and tricks. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, you're going to learn a lot of things I learned the hard way by making mistakes and not knowing I made mistakes, and things I've picked up along the way, either through my own discoveries, through reading and taking classes. I've hosted some of the country and the world's top knitwear designers and teachers at my shop and here in Richmond for my customers. And so this class is a combination of a lot of the knowledge I've learned as far as hints, tips, tricks, things from starting out from scratch when you're just planning your project, tools, materials, what to do if you mess up, how to fix this, when to know it's not worth fixing, and just a lot of really helpful advice. It's going to be a lot of little quick bits of information. We're not going to spend, an hour on any one technique. So there'll be something for everybody, and I'm going to share the PowerPoint so people can have that to refer back to.
Great, great. That sounds awesome. And then the last workshop is also on Saturday, January 16th from 4 to 7 p.m. That's Eastern time, is Pick Up Your Pace with Continental Knitting.
Yes, I was fortunate enough to be taught that way and not even knew what I was being taught. But Continental is a quicker way of knitting. You use your left hand to guide the yarn like this, and you just need a wrist finger motion, and it's much quicker because the yarn has less distance to travel. And the method they call European, or there's other ways, but you have to use your right hand and you have to let go of the needle and wrap, and it's a lot more movement, a lot more time. So Continental it can really change your knitting and make you a lot more productive and less repetitive strain, especially good if you're having issues with arthritis or inflammation, and just changing up the way you hold things can really make you a lot more comfortable, as well as knitting faster.
Oh, that's really cool. I didn't know that either, but that's definitely something for our viewers, I'm sure, would be very interested in learning how to do something with less movement and easier and faster, probably less chance of dropping the stitch too.
Yes, it has all those benefits, and we're going to also learn two-handed, where we'll have one color in each hand, so you can knit Fair Isle stranded patterns without having to drop a color and pick up another. You've got them right there, and you can really just speed along. And
Wow.
people who are afraid of knitting with color or didn't like it might finally see how much fun it is. So
does someone need any particular kind of experience in order to take this class?
Well, it's not for people who've never knit at all before, but if you have cast on and knitted a few rows, switching at the beginning is easier than switching later, as most things in life are. So yeah, it really doesn't require any experience other than knowing how to cast on and make a couple stitches.
Okay, great. Well, if anybody out there wants to sign up for Dana Dodge's workshops, you can go to quiltfest.com. Dan, I want to ask you, why do you think it's important to teach textile arts like knitting to our next generations?
It's something that has a history, and always like a positive history, I have to say. It's like there, of all the things society has evolved, handcrafts have always binded us together and given us creativity and provided us with clothing and sharing and giving. And there's just so many wonderful qualities. So, yeah, it's just such a beneficial part of our lives that I want to share it. I did teach at my son's elementary school for several years, and it's just really rewarding to help people pick up a new hobby that can really enrich their lives.
That's really nice. And I think that is so true. And is can go with knitting or any of the textile arts that really are, kind of steeped in tradition and in our history. So I always ask that the last question is, what's an interesting fact about you that not many people know?
I won the National Oyster Cook-Off. I tend to combine things in unique ways. I did that with my graphic design. I do it with knitting and creating new knitwear designs, and also with cooking. I like to just take a lot of ingredients, throw them together, and create something new. And I won the grand prize at the
That's exciting. So
yeah.
what was in your recipe?
It was grilled oysters, shucked, grilled, with colorful autumn oyster salad with greens and grilled vegetables and balsamic vinegar, blue cheese, lemon juice, and croutons.
My mouth is watering. That sounds amazing. Oh my gosh. Do you continue to make it to this day for your family?
Well, I actually promised it recently to a friend, and she reminded me the other day, so I am going to be making it very soon.
Well, congratulations on your win. That sounds absolutely delightful. Ooh, I'm going to be coming to your house soon.
I'll send you the recipe if you want. It's
Oh, that sounds amazing.
yeah.
Well, Dana, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you taking your time out of your schedule. And I hope you have a great start of 2021.
You as well, Diana. Thank you for having me. Looking forward to the DIY Create Festival.
Thank you. Everybody, just as a reminder, you can sign up for Dana Dodge's workshops at quiltfest.com and just click on Create DIY Fest and go to Workshops by Instructor. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.